I have 1:30, so let's start our CDBG Citizens Advisory Committee. And this is February 19, 2025. We'll call to order. I'd like to do a roll call, and I'd like to start down at this end. Please, your name?
John Paris, present.
Ginger Cutting here.
Janie Evans here.
Marianne Settles.
Debbie Savoini here.
Betsy Howe here.
Betsy's new. Thank you very much. We appreciate you attending and applying, and this is sort of baptismal by fire, isn't it? You can see the first flash. All right. And with that, then...
Jim's here.
Hi, Jim.
Good afternoon.
All present and accounted for. All right. So let's take our discussions and action items next. And I want to make sure everybody's covered their minutes. And do I have a motion to accept those minutes of January 15th?
This is John Paris. I so move.
I need a second.
Ginger Cutting, I second.
And with that being done, all those in favor of those minutes of January 15th, vote verbally and we'll raise our hands.
Aye.
Aye. It's unanimous. Nextly, presentation and discussion regarding selection of our 3 committee members to a subcommittee for year 2024. And Michael, do you want to take that on?
Yes, so each year we do elect a subcommittee, a 3-person member from this committee that will meet in the first week of March. It is all in regards to the selection process of the applicants. So at this time, we did discuss committee members or subcommittee members in the last meeting. Those names were Chair Mary Suttles, Vice Chair Janie Evans, and Member Jim Howe. Any discussion or changes to that could happen now. If not, the recommended action is up on the screen.
With that being done, any questions from board members?
No.
All right, with that, I'd like to have a motion to accept that 3 committee member.
Ginger Cutting, I move to accept the 3 committee member.
I need a second.
John Paris, I second.
With that said and done, all those in favor, raise your hands. And that is moved unanimously. Okay, let's go to presentation and discussion regarding the 2025 CDBG program applications. Michael.
Yes, Michael McGinnis, Community Development Department. This is your presentation CAC meeting where we get to hear from the applicants that are hoping for CDBG funds to help their programs or projects. The first part of this presentation will be our public service applicants. We've allocated about 12 minutes per applicant. We have a total of 17 applicants presenting today. So I'm going to probably, if it's okay with the chair, do a 10-minute, interruption as we continue to try to keep it on track.
I'm going to let you be the timekeeper so they like me.
Okay.
They'll be upset with you.
Yes, that's fine.
All right, so I think we all are ready. You have your information, and Michael will start.
Okay, our first applicant is Wrapped in Love Diaper Bank. And applicants, as you approach, please introduce yourself and again, the organization who you represent.
Good afternoon. My name is Lori Deutsch, and I'm the Executive Director for the Wrapped in Love Diaper Bank. And thank you for the opportunity to let me share about this project. 2 years ago, you provided funding for Wrapped in Love as a project under Community Counts. We are now our own nonprofit agency, and we're also an Arizona, for 2025, an Arizona charitable qualifying organization. So you may or may not know, but across the nation, 1 in 2 families struggle to pay for diapers. In looking at creating a statewide family support system, Prevent Child Abuse did a survey of families, and respondents ranked diapers and hygiene products in the top 5 of their basic needs. For the Prescott area, the First Things First report for their needs and assets report indicated that there's 173 children 0 to 5 living in poverty in Prescott, and 496 children qualify for WIC. And to be on WIC, your income has to be low. And Debbie can tell you the exact criteria, maybe. Census data shows that almost 1,500 elderly adults live in the Prescott area, and they are below the federal poverty guideline, and that over 260 youth in the area are under the age of 18, live in poverty, with approximately 80 homeless children in PUSD. When there are not enough resources and the budget is stretched, there can be a lot of negative consequences. So Wrapped in Love is one resource that is helping to meet those basic needs. We're not a storefront. Families get their diapers through the programs that they're working with. So it helps to secure and strengthen the wraparound services for those families. As you can see from the annual report that was passed out, growth has greatly expanded. And our reach we're covering a lot more, but there's many more in the community that need services. The Diaper Bank is a grassroots approach that depends on local support. We maintain a lean budget and are in need of purchasing more supplies and assisting with staffing. The CDBG request will help buy diapers, wipes, incontinence supplies, and support my position. Last month, we distributed over 9,000 items for babies and adults, and another 1,700 for students. So those are the feminine hygiene products. And that was a slow month. So we're growing in leaps and bounds. This project would not be possible without storage facilities. So WILL, which stands for Wrapped in Love, maintains 2 warehouses. One unit is for packaging items, shelving bundles that are packaged into bundles of 25 or 12 for incontinence items, and for filling monthly orders. The second location houses the palletized orders that we purchase from the Arizona Diaper Bank at a greatly reduced cost. By buying bulk, we're able to order supplies at a significantly reduced amount versus purchasing them in the stores. The Prescott Valley ACE Retail Support Center brings them up from Phoenix at no charge, so that also helps keep the costs down. The second warehouse also serves as a location to receive inventory items gathered through community diaper drives. During the fall, we collected books and sent them home in the December orders. We sent home approximately 650 books for babies and toddlers, and another 300 for their siblings. And those all go through the agencies, and the case managers provide us with that information. We're also providing potty training kits, which help the kiddos get ready for preschool and kindergarten, and greatly reduces costs for the family budget when they don't have to buy diapers. Additionally, in case you didn't know, students who participate in early childhood education are 2.5 times more likely to go on to higher education. So along with providing the basic necessities, we have some other projects that we help provide for the case managers to support their families. So in this grant, we'll support at least 160 unduplicated individuals, and they'll receive the basic essentials each month. Over 20 agencies, we have over 40 community partners, but locally for Prescott, over 20 agencies will help provide those services, the supplies, along with information. Each bundle also contains early childhood information, so the mom has some other information in her hands. Volunteers include Prescott students who help us with the diaper drives, create messaging, and help with friend raising. So we believe that this is our project is helping meet a basic need, and we would love to have your support in continuing and growing this project. So thank you so much. Do you have any questions for me?
Question?
No.
I have one.
Okay.
Lori, you give your organization address there in Prescott Valley. Explain how that's sort of where you live, but you work out of Prescott.
So we have the warehouse in Prescott Valley. That's where we found the site. So that's the address. It's by the Milgard Window Company and their condominiums. And we had that so we could have the square space to get the supplies. And then Prescott Area Shelter Services is our key drop point for local and especially the homeless. And we work with them through the homeless. So if someone calls, we ensure that the supplies are there and they can go right to the site on that day and pick up items as needed. And then we wrap them into programs. So if they're going to do financial support through Catholic Charities, then we get them wrapped in with Catholic Charities to get their supplies through them. We always want to make sure the family has more wraparound services and it's not just a hand out or a hand up.
That's all I had. Any others? Debbie?
Just clarification.
Sure.
You said that no, you hadn't received CBGG funds, and then no to audit of financial records. Is that because this Wrapped in Love is now its own separate entity apart from community counts?
Yes. So that's why it was no. In the past, it would have shown up under community counts. This is our first application, and we haven't had anything audited yet. Anything else?
I think we're good. Thank you, Lori.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Lori. Okay, next up, people who care.
Do you have a slide, Michael?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Barry DeKemper with People Who Care. You guys have been generous funders of us for several years now, and we're back for another round because we need the money. The services are growing. It's just incredible how fast things have expanded over the last few years, the kinds of services that we provide. Our mission, if you don't know, is to provide transportation and non-medical services to adults who can't drive because of illness, disability, vision loss, that sort of thing. We use volunteer network to provide those services. They use their own vehicles to transport for essential appointments like healthcare, grocery shopping, legal appointments, pharmacy pickup, that sort of thing. And it's all at no cost to our neighbors. We call our clients our neighbors. Quickly, if we're lucky enough to get this grant, all the funding from the grant would be used just for Prescott residents. You guys are our biggest customer. We provide services in the entire Quad Cities, but Prescott is our main customer, and we have our main office here as well. Some of the services we provide besides escorted transportation are technology assistance. We go into their homes, help them learn how to use a computer, smartphone, things like that, how to obtain services, applications, things like that. Other shopping services, we can take them with us to shop. We can shop for them, deliver, pick up, that sort of deal. Phone calls, paperwork assistance, home safety assessments. We do minor home repairs, go in and put it in the grab bar, check for trip hazards, things like that to keep them safe. Family caregiver relief, and low vision services, which I want to talk about just a little bit more here in a minute. And if you look at my slide, I put some of the stats from 2024. 325 Prescott residents served. That's about 69% of the total that we've done throughout all the Quad Cities. 8,300 services we provided to Prescott residents. 12,800 hours donated. Over 86,000 miles driven. And you can see from the demographics that most of our clients are older. In fact, 96% 60 and older, 54% 80 and older. Most of them are female. Most of them live alone, 65% anyway. None of them can drive because of the disability, vision loss, whatever it may be. Prescott neighbors get about 73% of all the services and the volunteer hours that we provide. And I have a typo down, 57% of all volunteer, it should say all volunteer mileage is driven in Prescott. Most of the services, healthcare stuff, are consolidated in Prescott. So a lot of people from the other from Prescott Valley, Chino Valley, Dewey, come into Prescott for the services. In the last year, well, 2 years ago, we started a low vision services. We have a low vision expert who himself, he contracted a rare form of macular degeneration when he was 19 years old, and he's in his early 70s now, but he spent his life helping people with similar low vision issues. He used to but he was the rehab head of the Chicago Lighthouse, which is one of the real Cadillacs of low vision services across the nation. And he retired out here and went to work for us, volunteered with us to provide these services. But he provides one-on-one appointments with folks. They come into the office and he sits down for about an hour and a half and goes over what, the things they need. He sets goals for them. What would you like to be able to accomplish with your low vision? Some people say, I'd like to go to the donut shop and get a cup of coffee. Some people want to get, do something else. And he helps them outline those sorts of goals. But mostly, he gives them kind of hope. A lot of them have been without real services that they need for many, many years. Because, to be honest, Prescott doesn't have a lot of the rehabilitation services that low vision folks need. For about a dozen years, we've provided confident living with low vision classes. People come into the office. It's a 6-week course, about 2 hours per session, and they come in and we have low vision experts and healthcare experts come in and talk to them about things they can do to address low vision problems in general. And we continue to do that. We hold 3 courses a year. The next one begins next month. We also have partnered with the Veterans Administration Hospital whenever one of their clients passes on they had provided a low vision viewer. Those things are expensive, $3,000-$4,000. They donate them to people who care, who in turn donates those to some of their clients with low vision. It's been really successful. It's just incredible how quickly that's picking up. We just formed a partnership with Arizona Retinal Consultants to host a monthly low vision support group that begins next month. We'll host that, and our low vision expert, Tom, will facilitate those sessions as well. Tom also holds a monthly low vision support group at one of the local nursing centers. He's been doing that for well over a year. He sees probably 30 to 35 people a month and they can share their stories about living with low vision.
About another minute, Barry.
Okay. And I think that's probably about it. I just wanted to emphasize the services are way up. General services and low vision services have really caught on as word's gotten around that we can provide these services. And that is why we could use some more funding to help us do that. So I'd be happy to take some questions. Thank you.
Already in the packet, but
And Betsy, press down on the mic if you have it. I
got
think you have to hold it.
okay. What was the grant given to you last year?
How much do we get?
Yes.
13,000 change. I can't remember. Yeah, something like that. Yep. Thank you.
Jim Howell, what was your total budget last year?
Total budget, 700,000, I believe. Some right around there, yeah.
Barry, you've presented to us before,
Yes, ma'am.
and you realize we're never able to match the amount that's requested because of
Absolutely.
what we have from HUD. But your matching funds are always there to fill in that void.
Absolutely, yes, ma'am.
Would this request be in, if I read it correctly, it's mostly transportation that you're looking at this?
Yeah, we would use it for all all services we provide, but probably, I think, 65, almost 70% of the services we provide are for transportation, escorted transportation.
All right, I think we're good. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay, next up is yes. And then just tell me when to do the slides.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
So thank you for having me. I'm Amanda Voss. I'm the founder and executive director of Yavapai Exploration and Science, which was what YES stands for. We're bringing a science center here to Prescott for our families in Yavapai County. But what I'm talking about today is Nature Niños. It's a program that's been around for 4 years. It is a free collaborative community program in Prescott designed for families with children ages 0 to 8. The reason this program came about was at the time of its inception, there were 0 outdoor programs for infants and toddlers. There were 0 free outdoor programs for 0 to 8-year-olds. And there was absolutely 0 programs anywhere in a Spanish-speaking program. So, Nature Niños provides activities with creative projects, guided nature walks, scavenger hunts and story time sessions, as well as showing parents how to get their kids outdoors into our city parks and how to interact with them in nature. You can hit the... on the board is just our community impact in the 23-24 year. We work with 25 plus partners. So YES is just one of 25. We also work with Natural History Institute. We work with Nature Niños, City of Prescott Parks and Rec. We work with Jim Core Environmental. So we have a lot of partners that we're branching out to provide free services for our families. We in the 23-24 year, we serviced 2,022 members, which incorporates to 4,044 hours of family time spent outdoors. We also had 152 was our average event attendance, and this year alone, our numbers are already about 20% more than they were that year. And why do we need this program? It's essential because the average child spends 44 hours every week in front of a screen. The average preschooler spends 32 hours per week, according to the American Academy of Pediatrics, in front of a screen. The average American child only gets 4 to 7 minutes of unstructured outdoor time a day. So we're trying to provide a very necessary service to get children outside just to increase mental health, physical health, and to be part of our community that is so much has a focus on outdoor activities. The funds will be used for purchasing activity supplies, printing costs. We provide free snacks and incentives, data analysis. So we work with U of A Cooperative Extension, and they help us to analyze all the data, make sure that we're providing for families, liability insurance for our events, and really just for the transportation back and forth. So our commitment through Nature Niños is just committed to improving youth programming, providing free educational experiences for all children, and improving youth health and community engagement. And if you guys have any questions, I'd love to answer.
Okay, let's look down to see any questions. Jim?
This is John Paris. Did you say this is your second or third year?
No, so Nature Niños itself as a program has been around for 4 years. My organization has only been here since June of last year. That's why I don't have an audited report, and I'm a baby.
So this is run through City of Prescott?
It is run just as a collaborative between a lot of nonprofits that are in the area. So the lead group, Nature Niños, was Ellen Basher, and she has come up with Nature Niños to provide these services to the families in our community. So it's really run just by a group of volunteers. So all of our hours are spent with volunteer time.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is United Way.
Hello, all. Gary Jan-
Could I get you to hold just a minute?
Indeed.
I'm going to recuse myself from this. I have served on the United Way board for about 10, 11 years. So I'm going to pull out, and the Vice Chair, Janie, will take it from here. So thank you.
Thank you for allowing us to present our project. I'm Gary Janchik, Communications Manager, United Way, Yavapai County. In the past year, several nonprofit orgs in the Prescott area have succumbed to financial mismanagement and malfeasance. Documented reports indicate that over $1 million were embezzled from trusted 501c3s in 2024. This is money that was dedicated to serve unmet needs in our community. The ramifications are devastating to the entire nonprofit community, but the greatest damage is to those who support these organizations and their clients who depend on the services at risk. At United Way of Yavapai County, we stand as a bulwark which protects these agencies from further damages through a series of workshops named the Center for Organizational Excellence, also known as COE. Our COE workshops feature community experts who present training sessions focused on topics of vital interest to 501c3 leadership, such as board development and retention, reading financial statements, grant writing, human relations for nonprofits, fundraising, and leadership. Our most recent COE workshop was held at the Prescott Resort in October of last year in partnership with the Arizona Community Foundation, which featured presentations by lawyer Stephen Polk, Stephen Crandall of Stephen Crandall Accounting, and Bruce Rosenberg, the ED of Prescott Area Habitat. This was a 6-hour workshop which was attended by over 140 individuals who were drawn by the course description. This class is formed for board presidents and executive directors to attend together. The content will focus on board governance and fiscal responsibilities and include sample policies and procedures designed to eliminate and mitigate opportunity for malfeasance. Our COE project for 2025 will continue this monthly series of workshops, which will focus on strengthening local nonprofit organizations to better serve the community and become better stewards of monetary donations. These are our 33 partnering agencies, which primarily are in the Prescott area, but some of them are scattered in Yavapai County. This program will be conducted in Prescott, at Prescott locations, our meetings, and the outcomes from this program are very tangible. Following our last presentation in October, governance and fiscal responsibilities of board members and executive staff and nonprofit organizations, we had an individual from one of our 33 partnering agencies step up to report malfeasance in their organization, which resulted in an internal investigation along with the dismissal of an executive director. We were informed that our training had inspired the whistleblower to come forward with their findings to their board, resulting in a restructuring of the organization, a direct appeal to their supporters for forgiveness, and a communication to the community resulting in new donor confidence that their contributions will be used for the stated purpose. We anticipate that future COE workshops will continue to expose unethical behaviors while providing training to assuage future financial control weaknesses. That's my presentation. I welcome questions.
Any questions?
This is Betsy Howe. I see in the outline of the expenses, the budget for your request of a little over $20,000, that more than half of that is going to the Prescott Resort. And I'm wondering if you could break down, is that for food service, room rental?
This is our executive director, David Siegler. He has numbers for you.
I have some additional details. The amounts that we spent to the Prescott Resort was for food and the use of their facilities. This year, we will not be doing it at the Prescott Resort. I wanted to clarify some of the numbers that Gary gave you. The $1 million that was embezzled was over the last 3 years, not just this year, and that all of our COE classes are in Prescott that are funded through Prescott. We will also have a couple of those classes on the Verde Valley side. The COE class for this year of that nature, that big one, we're not going to do at the Prescott Resort. We are looking for other alternatives to reduce costs. However, if you want to get 150 nonprofit leaders and board members to take a half a day, you got to feed them and find a good central location. I would like to add that when we talked with some of the board members of two of these nonprofits that had already experienced these challenges, what we found was that several of their board members served on multiple boards and didn't understand the complexities of their legal responsibilities as a board member. And that meant that not only were those agencies in jeopardy or in danger of being in jeopardy, but many across our community are open and vulnerable to this malfeasance to continue. And the education that we provide to board members includes policies and procedures that can prevent this from happening. And that's how we strengthen the entire the community, starting here in Prescott. Did that answer your question, Betsy? Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yes, this is John Paris. Just to follow up on that.
Indeed.
So the request is not for the resort, but a facility, hopefully, that you will get soon.
That will accommodate the numbers that we need.
Okay.
Attendance somewhere between 140 and 160 for that particular event. Most of the other events will be smaller, probably featuring 40 to 60 attendees. Welcome.
And our next event is called Board 101 and has basic involvement on how you train your board members and get, how to read a financial statement, those basic things. And that'll be held at the Prescott Library.
Anything else? Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to put this back to Mary Ann.
All right, next up is NACOG. And again, please introduce yourself.
My name is Art Askew. I'm a program specialist for NACOG. And I'm here representing our agency. I've been a program specialist at NACOG for about 7 years now. NACOG is a regional nonprofit agency, and we assist people across northern Arizona in finding employment and completing training to help them find more stable and self-supporting employment. We have a long history of success, having been providing this service for over 50 years in the Yavapai County area. We have 3 dedicated program specialists like myself who personally assist job seekers with their needs. We are asking for $126,000 to assist us in paying for occupational and vocational training for residents of Prescott who are low to moderate income. We will be paying up to $3,000 for at least 30 participants in the program. We'll also be offering to assist with supportive services that will include things that participants might need to successfully complete that training or to gain employment for them after completing their training. The training would be for anything that would assist a participant in gaining stable and self-sufficient employment. We work with a number of training providers both in the area and around the state that offer certificate-type training that will assist participants in gaining that employment. Some local examples would include the Certified Nursing Assistant programs, EMT training, CDL training, and cosmetology esthetician training. We have access to a complete list of training available throughout the state as well, and we have a long history of working with many Yavapai County employers and training providers. And I believe there were a couple of slides that we got in at the last minute.
Yes. You want me to? Just let me know when to flip
Yeah,
it.
you can go to the next one. I think I've already covered that. So we face a growing demand for skilled workforce in several of the industries in the area. Healthcare, skilled trades, technology, hospitality, and advanced manufacturing. We work with a number of employees like Fan Contracting, Alon Electric, Granite Mountain Design and Development, the hospitals, and we've been working with them for many years now to be able to fill their needs. The lack of affordable training programs and transportation challenges can limit career guidance. We provide ongoing support to our participants, case management support and guidance in their career fields, and we can assist them in anything that they might need to help them get into stable and self-sufficient employment. And I'll answer any questions. Yes.
So I have a question that I want just to clarify if you mean this is matching funds. Sufficient supplementary funds are available from non-CBDG sources to complete the project as described if CBDG funds are allocated to the applicant. Does that mean you will have matching funds?
We have other funds available, yes. This would be supplemental funds.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. NICOG hasn't presented to CBDG for a while. And so, again, as our funds get smaller, we're not able to match to the amount that's requested. But in case a smaller amount is awarded, you'll still be able to do this program?
We still will be able to do the program, yes.
All right. I think that covers. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, that was it with our public service. We're moving through pretty quick. Yes, Madam Chair.
We still had an organization that did not present. You want to explain that a little?
I believe it was Village of Hope. Their application is available in your packet. Again, if a organization does not present here today, the application's still valid. It's just highly recommended that they take this opportunity to present. So, unfortunately, Village of Hope and New Horizons were not able to make it due to other commitments.
Thank you.
Okay, next is City of Prescott. Here's all our construction applicants coming up. I labeled it incorrectly, but all right. City of Prescott Public Works.
Good afternoon. Thank you for hearing me out this fine day. We're excited to present the Dexter Neighborhood Project to the committee. My name is Randy Parham. I work for the Public Works Department. I'm the Deputy Director and City Engineer. So our overall high-level, 5,000-foot level goal is to simply improve the quality of life for the residents in the Dexter neighborhood. This has been an area of the city that's been on our radar for a while. It's a low-income area. It's an area that's subject to seasonal floodings. And with our high-intensity monsoon storms, there's properties that get flooded and structures that get flooded in this neighborhood. So one of the steps in this process was to conduct a study of the whole neighborhood that was conducted in 2023 by Lion Engineering and Wilson and Company. That study identified 9 projects, and the project that we're presenting to you today is one of those projects that was identified. And it's a project that is focused on the Merritt Street corridor. To design this project in its entirety, to bring it to 100% design plans, we're anticipating $100,000 to $200,000 in cost. We're seeking $100,000 from the committee, and we've set aside funds of $100,000 to match. And we're anticipating this will be a $1 to $1.5 million construction project. Our timeline is to hopefully get started as quickly as possible with the design. We'd love to start this year, depending on how the funding shakes out. More likely, it will be early FY26 with a schedule of FY27 for construction. The impacts from this project will be a reduction in flooding for the neighborhood. For this particular project, we want to do more projects in the neighborhood, by the way. But for this particular project, the properties along the Merritt Street corridor and the properties directly south of Merritt Street will have the most impact from this project. If you could pull up the next slide, it shows the Dexter neighborhood, which is bound by Whipple Street on the north fork of the Granite Creek on the east, and Miller Valley Road on the west. So all the blue on the map is floodwaters from the 100-year design storm. So you can see there's a lot going on in this neighborhood. The little red arrow depicts the area that we're going to focus on. you can see the shade of blue changes in the drawing. The darker the blue, the deeper the flooding. So you can see we're kind of focused right in the area with some of the worst flooding, which is around the Lincoln Avenue, Merritt Street intersection, and the Campbell intersection. If you want to pull up the next slide, these are some of the properties in that area. You can see roads being overtopped during storms, yards getting flooded, structures getting flooded. And then you can see in the top left the sandbags that residents are just trying to do whatever they can to mitigate the effects of these storms. So we're trying to give these people a hand, and this would be the first project that was identified that we would try to implement. So happy to take any questions.
Ginger?
Thank you, Ginger Cutting. How many residences approximately are located in that one area?
So I know the Dexter neighborhood in total is approximately 4,000 residents, but in the near vicinity of Merritt and Lincoln and Campbell, I don't have those exact numbers for you. Yeah.
And then of those 4,000, how many of those are in low to moderate income?
Again, I don't have the answer to that question. I know that there was a study that was done, I believe, as part of the census process, and this area was identified as a low income area. It's actually the only area in the city that was identified as low income. Sorry, I do have an answer. 75% of the neighborhood. Thank you, Jeremy. Jeremy Cordova. He's also with Public Works.
I'm not a part of this. I just have a comment. That is my neighborhood where I bought my very first house in Prescott, like years ago, and we had to sell it because it flooded so bad every year. Our kitchen, like our appliances got destroyed, everything, and we couldn't afford to keep repairing it. And we haven't been able to buy a house since then. But that was my first home, was right in this neighborhood, and that literally looks like my backyard.
Wow.
So it's kind of amazing to see. I wish we could still be there, but that was this total side comment that just was really wanted to know that somebody's aiming to do this work, because being all the neighbors out there, it's very low income, and you know, it's young people, young families doing the best they can, hauling sandbags to each other's apartments, homes, and yeah, I just wanted to.
Thank you.
That was Ellen Basher for the video comment.
We didn't pay her to be here, we promise.
I didn't. I was like, thank you for doing this. I'll be back someday.
Any other questions?
How much money's been already allocated for the project?
What we've spent or what we're setting aside? Or just clarifying, what we've already spent in the neighborhood or what we're looking to spend?
Well, two questions then. What are you looking to spend, and hasn't funds already been allocated at some level?
So the study that was, I don't have the exact numbers, but the study that was done, we had to do a full area hydraulic model. We have a flow 2D model for the whole area, which we kind of needed that background information to move forward with more projects. That was probably $250,000 worth of design that was done already for this area. And now we're moving into kind of finished designs for the projects and then into construction. So we have limited drainage dollars available each year. So we get about $800,000 through our IGA with the county per year. So those dollars get used up very quickly. A lot of times we kind of follow the pavement program, because as we redo a corridor and we improve the pavement, there's drainage features that need to be upsized or fixed, or maybe have fallen in disrepair. So historically, it made sense to do that because we got the most bang for our buck, because they're already there doing construction, tearing up the road. We could kind of piggyback off that and do some drainage improvements. And so we'll continue to do those types of projects. But I became the city engineer about a year and a half ago, and I'm trying to create just drainage-focused, drainage-specific projects so we can use more of those county dollars to solve issues like we're seeing in the Dexter neighborhood. So,
Ginger?
So with this request that you have today, this would be geared towards the plan, putting the plan together,
design, yeah,
the
100%
design.
plan.
And then next year, would you be returning for construction costs?
If you'll have me.
What's your timeline? What are you looking at completion?
So we'd like to get the design for FY26. So come July 1, hopefully we'll already have a consultant on board and negotiated a scope and fee and starting the design, which we'd anticipate was probably going to be a 9-month design phase. And then we might have to span 2 fiscal years for construction, maybe the end of FY26, beginning of FY27, maybe FY28, depending on how the funding for the construction works out.
Okie doke. Thank you, Whitney.
Yep.
Okay, next up is City of Prescott Parks and Rec. It's Ellen's turn.
Hi. Sorry for interrupting. I was just like, gosh, that would have been really nice. As a young professional here in Prescott, trying to get established and get a home. My name's Ellen Basher. I'm here with Parks and Recreation. I'm a park ranger. I'm zooming over here from being with 90 second graders today, so I'm sorry for the mud on the pants. It's been a good one. I'm really, really excited to talk to you about our project. CDBG was so crucial in what we did last year. So we can start right here. The Community Nature Center is an 18-acre open space preserve here in the city of Prescott. It's got about 1.5 miles of trails, and thanks to CDBG, it has the longest amount of ADA compliant, wheelchair accessible trail in the entire city of Prescott. That would not have been possible without CDBG, and every single day we're so excited about that. I have not gone a day without seeing someone benefit directly from having that path there. Get goosebumps thinking about all the strollers and all the walkers and everyone getting out and having a really good time. We're only about 10 minutes from downtown. It's about 5 minutes from 6 assisted living communities, so we have a lot of retirees that benefit from the area. We're 1 minute from 2 public schools, so our public school students are getting out there, including all of our students with disabilities, thanks to this incredible trail. It's just been a whirlwind of feedback in the past few years about how many residents have been so excited. You can see Bella up there. She's a rock star. She helped us with our additional all-terrain accessible trail to the pond, which we named Bella's Trail for her great advocacy in 6th grade. And so we see at the Community Nature Center, the City of Prescott runs programs for the whole community, for the public schools. We see, over 1,600 public school students, over 3,400 community members in our programs. Our site visits are over 14,000. Annually, this is people coming and going with our trail counters, and that has just skyrocketed since we got this ADA compliant trail. So wonderful foundation. It's just missing one little thing as what is right now our longest and biggest ADA compliant outdoor destination for those with disabilities in our community, and that is, slide.
This one.
We're trying to get an ADA compliant restroom. Why? Well, over 11,000 residents here have a disability. Oh, go back.
Oh, sorry.
Mike.
Sorry about that.
No, it's all right. And we have over 3,600 residents that have travel limiting disabilities in terms of moving around. And if we take 57%, the average of people with mobility devices that they're using to address their mobility barriers, Prescott has 6,000 people here. So I unfortunately did some sad math. Out of all 150 miles of trails we have here in the city of Prescott, we have about 3,300 feet that are ADA compliant. Out of all of our ADA compliant trails, how many have an ADA compliant bathroom? Absolutely none. That means you literally cannot go outside and have a bathroom if you are a wheeled device user or a wheelchair user, or you have a stroller and toddler and little human and big human all with you. It's just not possible. And this is 6,000 of our residents in a city that prides itself on being a recreation destination. I mean, my math isn't even that great, but if they're looking for a trail and they have 0.004% of our trails to go to. I don't know what that number is in words. I just know it in numbers, it's very small. If they need to pee, that's 0%. They have nowhere to go outside. So we're looking at this minuscule amount of places, and it is so important of our goal as a city to someday have 1% of our trails, 1% of our recreation areas where you can go out, you can enjoy yourself, you can be healthy, you can make connections with your friends, you can take your grandmother on a picnic, or you can take your toddler on their picnic, or you can take both of them on the picnic because you can actually get around and you know you can go somewhere because you can use the restroom. It's basic sanitation, and I can't express how many individuals I know personally and talk to in our community who are desperate to be a part of the culture of Prescott, of getting outside, of being healthy, of moving their bodies, and don't have somewhere where they can go and do that more than a few minutes, or you're gonna have to go and take care of your needs. I would love to work with you all to solve this and care for what is like 6,000 people here in our community who are still waiting to have somewhere to go. So we have a plan. I didn't rehearse any of that with you, so you don't know any of my slide cues. We would love to have an ADA compliant male and female restroom. This would make Prescott's, go back, that's a cute baby. It would make it the very first ADA compliant trail system in the entire city that had an ADA compliant bathroom. I'm sorry it's 2025 and we're doing that right now, but it's so important that we get started and make that happen for our residents to have at least one destination. Other benefits of this area, right? These people can have access to recreation, they can have access to education. We're talking about increasing health outcomes. We're talking about increasing for mental health and physical health. We have all the data we need now. I'm pretty sure I look at people who know if you go outside and you're moving your body, you are feeling better. And I think that we can dive deep into those, but really we know that just like any single one of us at any time I keep seeing such a cute baby. We can trip and fall. We can break a leg. We can have something can happen in our lives that can change, and that can be us in those moments. And so it's not just our 6,000 residents currently who use mobility devices, but it's also all of us at any moment can be in that same boat, and we should have somewhere we can go, somewhere we can heal, and somewhere we can be together outside with others. And that is my whole presentation. Thank you. Any questions?
Questions? Ginger.
Thank you. That was very enthusiastic.
Thank you.
You indicated on here that the amount of low to moderate income people this would affect is 19,103.
So we were looking at the number of residents that we have that are low to moderate income and that would have either them or someone in their immediate household that has a disability.
And then you also, the other question I have is $3,000 is what you have allotted that you have received so far?
Yeah, so, that's kind of a flex number. Our city recreation department has said basically we can do as much for this bathroom as we can. So we can dig the trenches, we can lay the cement foundations for it, we can do the leveling, all of that. We don't have an exact number because we would have to do that internally through our recreation team. We just don't have the capacity and materials to construct an entire restroom. And it's more affordable in the long run. It's more durable to work with these companies that produce these very specific types of restrooms. We've seen them in other places around the city of Prescott before. I'm sure we've all, had to use one. But it is our hope is that we can do as much internally working with the company. It's a company we've worked with before who gave us that lower bid. And so we were able to do the same thing out at the bottom of those new mountain biking trails that were put in. So the estimate for the cost would be maybe $3,000 to $5,000 in supplies. If we started to add up all the city labor, we're looking at a much larger match in terms of that co-construction with the company. Yes.
Ellen, this is a City of Prescott park. Is there a charge for this park?
No, it is City of Prescott. It's free, open to the public every day, 7 a.m. to sunset. And I would love to see you there. I'm happy to give tours.
So a couple of years ago, we came in with CDBG money and did a project for the access to the park and such. And that has probably brought your numbers up a little bit more.
Absolutely. I mean, and having our one thing is we have one ADA compliant parking spot, and that's really popular now that we have so many users who are coming there and need those spaces, extra spaces to unload. That was also CDBG funds for the mixed with the parking and that entryway and the whole path area there. So yes, it's a lot more people.
So where you plan to put this, that was always sort of in the plan, or you're taking property that you would use for something else?
Yes. Well, we have currently very luxurious portable restroom, which is not the greatest, but it has a designated pad that we put in. So right as you come in on the right side. So we're going to take that same area so that we don't have to remove any native plants or habitat that's also benefit to the visitors and the creatures there too. So our plan is to put it right there at the entrance so it's really accessible and can be you can basically walk or roll to it within about 1 to 2 minutes from anywhere along that ADA compliant trail area.
Super. Okay. Ginger?
So that ADA restroom would eliminate porta potties, correct?
Yes.
And so the public as well as ADA compliant people would be able to use it?
Yes, everyone can use it. And we're hoping, ideally, a male and female restroom too, just to make sure everyone has, the privacy and safety and their sanitation that they need.
More question. Is it, so many of the restrooms are not available certain times of the year here? Is this going to be open all the time?
It will, yes, because we're going for environmentally friendly and no water usage site. So we're able to do that as low impact on the land, super affordable for everyone involved. And since we don't have to worry about the piping for the water because of our vault selection, which we do at many of our trails here as well, we'll be no worrying about pipes freezing. And we're going to go with the solar light in there, just again for safety for anybody, in darker times of the year while they may still be in the park. You're welcome.
I think we did it in the time limit too.
Right, we're still under 12 minutes. We're real ahead of schedule.
Look at you. All right, Ellen, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, everyone.
IT, could you eliminate the automatic slide transition to the PowerPoint, if that's possible?
Oh, that's where the babies came from.
Yeah, it's automatically transitioning. And I can come back there if you need me to come back there, but see if there's a way to take off the automatic transition. Okay. We are way ahead of schedule. Just to let the committee know, regarding this schedule, I told applicants to arrive about 30 minutes prior, okay? So they're not here all day. And that we're so ahead of schedule that's we might be jumping ahead if somebody's here to keep this show going. But okay, so Agape House is next, but I don't know if Becky's in here. I'm sure she's on her way. So next is the Boys and Girls Club. We'll go ahead into Boys and Girls Club. He can't see out of that eye, so. Oh, you there?
I can see out of both, and I ran into you, so.
Let me go to. Did you provide a slide?
I did. Yeah.
Okay, let me jump to your slide. Tell me when I'm there.
There we go. That's
Okay.
me. Good afternoon, committee. My name is Alex Heineman. I'm the CEO of the Boys and Girls Clubs of Central Arizona. I serve about 200 kids a day in Prescott and Prescott Valley. And hopefully, if my strategic plan takes hold, I'll be back in Chino Valley in August for back to school. Sorry, had to pitch that one really quick. Our project today is to talk about something that Prescott has been helping with ever since you gave us a building 25 years ago in the old adult center. Our playground is a public-private shared space between us and the city of Prescott. It's only the club's playground during club hours, and then it's Prescott's playground in that neighborhood over on the Aubrey Hill and the Pleasant Corner. If anybody's been there on this northeast corner of the historic district is where the clubs are. The pictures of the playground here, we partnered with a private organization, the Fiesta Bowl Charities. They do a project called Kaboom, where it's almost a barn raising of a playground. After all the money is raised, days, they get 100 volunteers and build that playground in about 5 hours. It's very cool. It already happened before I was the executive director here, but I got to experience it at the Camp Verde Elementary School as a volunteer. It's amazing. And so with Fiesta Bowl Charities and Blue Cross Blue Shield, we were able to fund that privately and build that playground and share it with the city of Prescott. Last year, a private donor, a volunteer of mine, said that the kids don't like the Gaga pit, which is a type of dodgeball game. It had splinters and the gazebo had splinters. And so we tore it out and my donor bought us some swings because the kids said they wanted actual swings. So we've invested last year in that playground by adding a couple swing sets as well. Since 2019, since the building, the erection of the playground, it's shown some wear and tear, but most primarily my national organization, Boys and Girls Clubs of America, has moved towards more safety-minded approaches, and now they bring out external assessments to check out our clubs, which is a step in the right direction as a national organization. However, they identified something very specific about our playground, and it doesn't have a safety fence bordering it. So kids, and more importantly, sports balls go rolling down the Aubrey Hill towards Mile High Middle pretty much every day. Don't worry, kids aren't rolling down the hill, it's the balls. And our playground is showing wear and tear, but our project today, and Michael, you can go to the next slide. Our project today is to expand it. Our top priority is the safety, the fence. And our second priority, given the amount of money that we've asked from CDBG this year, is to add a couple of elements for the kids' aesthetic and for the community's aesthetic, as the neighboring neighborhood does use this playground as well. So the first thing, all of that orange fencing needs to go. We need to check out the retaining wall and remove some shrubbery that mice and spiders and snakes are finding their way into. It's right next to the playground. So we need to remove shrubbery, check grade, and install a safety fence primarily. And if CDBG grants us enough funding, then we will go into our second priority, which is adding a couple of elements. I've been talking to the kids, and my kids specifically. Everybody wants an American Ninja Warrior course, so, might be able to figure that out around the Kaboom playground. As you can see, this is a large project. It was a large ask. CDBG has been graciously helping us before. In 2023, you helped build a program kitchen for us. So that's not just a kitchen for the staff in the office. That kitchen is programmed. My club team, they kind of Rachel Ray it at the front, and the kids learn what we call a snacktivity. And so we're very grateful for CDBG. We're also very proud that we made it through 2024 without any sort of government funding, local, state, or federal. And we approached what BGC's warned us about as a fiscal cliff, and we navigated it very well through private and corporate funding. And we do like to take care of ourselves in terms of funding, but this is a time where we could reach out to CDBG and reach out to the city of Prescott to reinvest in this shared public-private space. This project was not budgeted for in 2025, so we don't have any matching funds in our operation. To be quite honest, I read the article in the Courier and my board said get to work, that nobody was applying, so here I am. So if CDBG were to help us with this project, my main proposal is if I can't get the full amount for both priorities, it's definitely for the safety priority of the fence, because we definitely want to take that on for our national membership requirements and for the city of Prescott. I think I have another slide, Mike, but I think I said everything. Oh, my expected outcomes. I mean, we see a lot of kids in Prescott. Our average daily participation is growing. We're rising up to about 75 kids a day. You can see that the youth of the clubs and also 2 to 4 families frequent that every day. We are still in a young family neighborhood. There are lots of different styles of homes and residents in that quarter of the historic district, but we do see young families that could really benefit from this. And this is a chance for CDBG to gift to a nonprofit, and the nonprofit is sort of giving it right back to the city of Prescott. That's my presentation. Thank you. Any questions?
Members? Ginger?
Thank you, Ginger Cutting. So if we looked at this and if you were looking for the safety version, that would be about half, is that correct?
I would believe so. That budget was put together as quickly as possible to get to this presentation, but I would say yes, half of my ask would get the fence done. And my board and I, for the safety of the fence, if that's all we do get from CDBG, we will find a way to match it and finish the project of safety. We'll strive. That's what we do.
I think we're good.
Thank you, Mary Ann. Thank you.
Okay. The center. Kathy, you want to go ahead?
Pays to come early.
I need a minute.
Yes.
I'm going to recuse myself from this presentation and grant because I serve on the center board. So I'm going to turn this part of the meeting over to Jenny as the assistant chair.
So, good afternoon. My name is Kathy McFadden. I'm the executive director of the center, formerly known the Adult Center of Prescott, in the Rollie P. Simmons Community Center. We appreciate all he did for us, and with his recent passing, appreciate everything even more. We service a lot of people. I did the numbers last week, and last year we had over 98,000 individuals come to the center. We're open 7 days a week, and we had 110 activities, classes, or events last year. 110,000. So we have a lot of events and activities. We turn our rooms several times a day. We have a large ballroom that cuts into two. It cuts into a front side and a back side. We have a studio, an activity room, a fitness room, a game room, and we converted one of our closets into another small space. I call that the nursery, but that's just because church uses it for the nursery on Sundays. All of these rooms, when used to capacity, I don't have enough tables and chairs to fill them. So that kind of limits the classes and activities that I can do based on what's going on in the center. When we have a wedding with 280 to 300 people, it uses every single round table that we have. And I could potentially have a baby shower or a birthday party in two of my other rooms at the same time, but I don't have enough round tables to accommodate that. Through fundraising, I actually this year received $7,000 and $7,500 to replace our chairs. When I started there 14 years ago, we had 612 chairs. Today, we only have 280 chairs that we can use. The rest have been unrepairable at this point. So we actually have almost 100% funding for our chairs, and so we are looking for funding for some more tables. We specifically want to get some smaller width tables, the classroom style tables, for some of our other spaces because we could increase our occupancy levels with that. We do a lot of community events and services with our community Easter egg hunt. We gave over 10,000 Easter eggs away, and we had vendors inside using every single room. At Christmas, all of our rooms are used, and we have to ask the vendors to bring their own tables because we don't have enough to supply them. But it's a really good time, and the community gets to come out, see Santa, get gifts. We also have a lot of educational programs for our seniors on aging, balance, health, and nutrition. So I feel that all of these programs are a good use of our community, uses the center. And then to supplement the income, we rent out the facility for parties and weddings, and that's where these other table usages come into play.
Does anybody have any questions?
So the 15,000 that you've asked for will purchase how many tables?
75 tables and 2 table carts.
And then you said you're acquiring other funding for the chairs?
Yes, we did. We got a $7,000 donation and a $7,500 donation. And the chairs are going to be about $19,000. So we've almost reached that goal. We could always get fewer tables and chairs, even if it was only partially funded. We can just stick to one, like get more rounds or just the classroom style tables as well. So partial funding is also helpful.
Chair, Vice Chair. Just for clarification for the committee, if you see on the application, it's labeled as public service. Purchase of furniture like this would fall under the construction budget. Okay, I had to speak to HUD directly about it, but that's where the money would come from, and that's why it's placed under construction. So it's sorry for the bit of the confusion, but that's how they would view this.
And we do thank you for the funding from last year. We're very excited to get our building, our storage building, up and going. And we're actually expanding that a little bit with Meals on Wheels since we share so many of our services. So they're going to pay an additional fee so that the building can be larger so that it supports both organizations.
One more question. You said that you rent the facility out quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
What is the open time for the public percentage for the building that they would be utilizing these versus when it's rented?
So we are open Monday through Friday, 8 to 4 or 6, 7. It just depends on the day. Tuesdays we're there until 9. So the rentals, we actually work around our activities. So a lot of our activities will move to a smaller room to accommodate a rental because they know that brings more income in. And also if we're having a rental on a Saturday, church is there every Sunday. We will sometimes do activities or free services on those days since the building has to be open for the rental to bring the community in. So basically anytime something is going on, the community is welcome to come in and use the fitness room and any other classes that we try to have around the rentals.
You do not require a membership any longer?
So you can use the center and pay a non-member rate. There's a lot of activities that are free. So like the Arizona Historical Society was there when I left, and there was about 100 people in the room using that space. So we have a lot of free services that you do not have to be a member for, or you can pay a $10 non-member fee for the day. But our memberships range from $75 to $200, depending on your upgrades, and some classes come free with upgraded memberships.
Is that monthly?
Annually.
Anything else? Okay, Mary Ann, turning it back.
And I just want to invite you all to come see our new walking trail. We just got a 1/4-mile walking trail in through the donations of the Sunrise Lions. It's asphalt and it's really beautiful. So just throwing that out there. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Kathy.
Okay.
So who do we have in the audience? Again, we're way ahead of schedule. I might have given them a little bit too big of a time window. Yes, and you're with?
DTL.
Okay, Teresa?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. This is number 12 on the list. DTL, I imagine Real Estate Holdings, is that what it's?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and introduce yourself and your
Hi, I'm
project.
Teresa Lohmeyer. I'm with DTL Real Estate Holdings. Our application is for 131 South Summit. Thanks, Marianne. I don't have a presentation, but I'm here to answer any questions. This is our first application for this type of project. We have held the rental for the last 8 years, and we have 6 units in total. We have a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, and a 228 square foot studio. Our applicants are majority, 100% of the time, low income. And so the property is historic. We've got concrete that's not ADA accessible at all. And to open up the space for an elderly population that would need help into a rental close to downtown, it's all my applicants typically work within a mile of the house. And so any questions you might have for our application, I'm happy to answer or get back to you if I don't have the answer.
Janie?
This is a privately owned home, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Is that against the rules?
Ginger?
No, it's not.
Okay.
How many low to moderate income people would this help annually?
So in the 4-bedroom, I've helped essentially a multifamily, generational family. So in the 4-bedroom, I had 8 people with 2 young kids with their new baby, and then the grandmother, the aunt, and the cousin. So it can range in the 4-bedroom quite a bit, but typically I aim for 4, and then 2 in the 2-bedroom, 6, and then 1. So 7 total. You're welcome.
I'm sort of surprised there aren't more, being just a single project. But thank you for your time.
You're welcome. And if you have anything else, let me know.
Awesome. Thanks, Teresa.
You're welcome. Thanks, Michael.
Okay.
Brandon has his presentation.
All right. So I'm working on sending out a mass email saying, everybody, hey, it's moving a lot faster than we thought. If y'all would like, what's that? 5-minute break, whatever the chair. What do you think, Chair?
You bet.
Okay. Little break.
Take a break till you see somebody in the audience. It's at your leisure.
Thanks, guys. Okay. Madam Chair, are we ready to go?
Yes, we're back into full service, and our next applicant is
It is Agape House. Again, presenters, as you come up, please introduce yourself to the committee. Thank you.
Hi. Hello, my name is Becky Mitchell. I'm from Agape House of Prescott. We serve families overcoming homelessness. We provide discipleship, mentoring, life skills training, and interim housing. We have found the solution for homelessness to be the 4-phase program, Pathway to Independence. This really meets with the basic needs first, is where we really want to start with the basic needs first and then go into personal wellness, including mental health, emotional health, and physical health. And then we do life skills training. In life skills training, we do budgeting, career, parenting, home organization, and this leads to sustainability. Our vision is a 9-unit apartment complex, which we have just about maybe a half mile down the street from off of Gurley, if you've been there. The face of the homeless is not who you typically think. Right now, there are 276 students who are homeless in Prescott and in the Humboldt Unified School Districts. The most common time to be homeless would be as a baby. The most average age is age 11. So these are very interesting statistics that people don't typically think of. Usually they're thinking of those coming out of incarceration or those who are struggling with drugs and alcohol. No 11-year-old, it's not their fault. No baby, it's not their fault. 2 years ago, I had 5 women who came in and said, the father said, kill the baby or leave. And each time the woman said, I'm leaving. I don't have a place to go. So they go to the community pregnancy center and then they come to us. This is a picture of our beautiful complex. They're small, they're modest. Michael and Marianne have been there. We love our complex. We really appreciate the support that we have had for the renovations over the years. CDBG has supported Agape House. We purchased the building for $850,000. At the time, it needed $150,000 worth of renovations. We just need a few items remaining now. You can proceed to the next slide. So this is our children. We have about 20 children on campus. They range from babies to teenagers. People will ask us how old the kids are. And it's funny the way that it varies. We're about to have 5 teenagers on campus. So I just told you about the babies. Now we have teenagers. So it varies, and then we need tutors on campus also to help with the children. We do provide interim housing, utilities, case management, and life skills training. We really want our folks to never be in this situation again. Homelessness is caused primarily by 3 things: lack of affordable housing, lack of resources, maybe they don't have enough education or jobs readiness, and then really the relationships is the toxic relationships right there, right? So they're overcoming childhood trauma that really needs to be addressed. Our families always have jobs, but keeping a job is sometimes hard because they don't have childcare. They don't have the emotional and mental capacity to keep going to work, even on hard days, and because they don't have transportation. So we really want to give them the skills to never be homeless again. We've seen several families go from homeless to homeowners. That's our favorite situation, right? So we love they are able to stay with us for 6 months, and during that 6 months times, they are required to put 30% of their income aside. Some people put more aside, right? So we have to decrease the debt, increase the credit score, and increase the savings amount after the 6 to 9 months when they've been with us. They now have a chunk of change. It could be $3,000 that pays for first and last month of rent. It could be $10,000, which they're able to use with the down payment. Now we work with the banks in town that help them. The deals change. You know, there's a USDA first-time home buyers loan. There's a veteran loan. Some banks will say, well, if you give us $10,000, we'll match it with $20,000, then you have $30,000 for a down payment. So we're really excited about that. What we are coming before you today is we did receive $5,000 from the Mabry Foundation for HVAC, so that will lessen our request. I think our original request was $24,000, so now we're requesting $19,000. We need 2 units we need HVAC in. We need a shed for our weed eater and lawn materials. We are in need of, we want to protect the homes with a full house surge protector. We've done a lot of renovations in there. It would be very devastating if those got damaged. So if for $4,000, we can put surge protectors on each of the homes. And then our other ask is for Service Master for mold. So we live at the bottom of a hill. We've had a lot of water drainage and damage, and that's part of the reason why we got the apartment complex for such a good price. But we did have to go in and do remediation before. So we just want to keep an eye on that. Mold is not healthy. So we have gotten it checked in the other units, but as the monsoons come in, which you're awarded in July, right? So then we just want to keep an eye on that. So we've got all clearance from last year, and we just need to keep an eye on that situation. So that is our request. Does anybody have any questions?
All right, down to members. Ginger?
I'm just curious, what's your vacancy?
Thank you for asking. We're about to move in several families right now, actually. So we have one apartment that we are trying to clear up. So we try, in our best scenario, we're vacant for 30 days. One family moves out, we have to turn it around, which means we do the walls, paint, blinds, carpet, floors, kitchen, baths, and then usually we have 30 days of vacancy. So right now we're working on one apartment. So that's our answer for now. And then we are expanding into Prescott Valley, which I know is not relevant to here, but we are excited to nearly double capacity in Prescott Valley. Any other questions?
Becky, with the expansion to Prescott Valley, for your funding and some of your sources, how does that work?
Oh, we have 60% of our monies annually come from individuals through the Arizona Charitable Tax Credit. We regularly see $200,000 come in during the first quarter, and then another $300,000 or $400,000 come in during the fourth quarter. That's our biggest revenue. 30% comes in from grants, and 10% comes in from churches, clubs, and businesses, which actually takes up more of my time than the other ones. But we are in need of a diversified income stream. We did receive $600,000 from the Federal Home Loan Bank of Des Moines for our Prescott Valley expansion. This bank it's for homes and for transitional housing. It's a 15-year loan, 0% interest, completely forgivable. So that goes through like the Foothills Bank. Foothills is a part of Federal Home Loan Bank. They're associated with San Francisco, and they want to offer us 20 homes in the near future. So that's a really wonderful opportunity.
Because you are spreading out, and each community needs that, and it's always CDBG make sure this Prescott money stays in Prescott.
Yeah.
It has its little tailings, but you've certainly had the project here be very, very successful.
It's been an honor to watch 50 families come through our program. We've served over 200 individuals, and they're real people, they're real children, and I love them, and my kids love them, and they go to school with my kids, they go to church with my kids. And the women who are coming out of the program, they work at my doctor's office, they work at my eyeglass doctors, they work at the dentist. You see them in town and they become friends and neighbors. So they're not just clients or people overcoming, they become friends. And so it is a privilege to walk beside these families. It's hard. These families are doing really hard work. I remember one lady, she looked at me and she had been resistant against going to counseling. And then she broke down one day and I said, "What are you going to do?" And she said, "Well, I guess I need to go to counseling." And I said, "You're going to do what?" She said, "I'm going to go to counseling." And I said, that's what you need to do. So it's 7 headaches for every success story. I mean, they're going through trauma and they have to overcome that abuse. But when you can be a part of this family. One mother, she told me, thank you very much for the heat. Then she told me, thank you, the heat works good. And it came from your money. But it wasn't until the 3rd time that she said, you know what, thank you for the heat, it really works good, that I had remembered she and her child had been without heat for 2 years because they had been staying in a car. So your monies are making a significant impact, and you are a part of the solution. We are not able to house all 279 children who are homeless, but we can help a significant part of that. We work directly with Prescott Area Shelter Services, the Gospel Rescue Mission, Stepping Stones, and CCJ. We each have our own unique niche. We are moving in a father with 2 teenage children next week. We're the only person in town that serves them. So we feel very happy to be able to work with that unique population. Any other questions?
I think we're good. Thank you, Becky.
Thank you, and we thank you for walking with us over the years. Thank you, Michael and George.
Thanks, Becky. Okay. Next up is Aloha Gardens.
Hi there. I'm short. I'm Kristen Kingsbury, and I actually have never done this before. Saw a Facebook ad and said, hey, that actually is tailored to what I'm working on. So thought I would come and be a part of this experience and see what this is all about. Aloha Gardens is a mobile home park off of Gale Gardner that I purchased, I think I'm about 6 years into it. When I purchased it, all these homes are from the 1970s, falling apart. There's been drugs in there. It's been a really rough property to own. And so my mission over the time has been to pay it off and start bringing new homes in with the ultimate goal to help people and provide affordable housing. What I've learned and through this whole process, paid off the park this year, and just bit by bit starting to bring homes in that are newer, that are upgraded. We were getting lots of phone calls about what was going on in the neighborhood, to the point where I finally started calling the city police and asking if they would please come sit in there and just be a presence to kind of spook the people that I had inherited that were doing the bad things off and out of there. Since then, I have great tenants. We've been moving people out, getting old houses out. I've got 2 vacancies right now. And there's a model that I saw, and I'm loving listening to her because, oh my heart, there's so many homeless kids on the street. And I was one of those children who got to live in one of those situations where affordability kept us in a dangerous situation with drugs and things like that. So my heart and my goal is to bring this to a place where we can bring in families, single moms, but have a safe place for them to live. I'm doing this personally with my own funding, a little bit at a time. I teach these guys Financial Peace University through Dave Ramsey to help them learn how to manage money. Lots of times I'm personally subsidizing their rents to help them. But little by little, we've now paid off the park. We're now moving in new homes. I have 1 newer home that's in there, 2 vacancies that I'm trying to get homes in. And so this was just an opportunity. I'm like, wow, this could speed it up. The model that I saw was planting a park manager in that is of good character, neighborly, being a positive representation to the neighbors and inviting them to do things like barbecues, inviting them to these courses. And I saw this model working across the country with a guy named Jeff Ruthkowski, who's buying apartment complexes and planting pastors in apartment complexes and then just letting them be the hands and the feet of the neighborhood and just lift up the neighborhood. So this is my little piece of town, and I know it's a headache to a lot of the city of Prescott, especially the law enforcement. So my goal is to, little by little, that's what I'm working on. I do have a lady there right now that was previously homeless on the streets and is now doing well, employed, has a roof over her head, has heat, and has a place to call home and a safe space. So this is why I'm here.
Did you want me to go through any of the slides, Chris?
You may. I think the only things I didn't point out were really we are not. I get a lot of questions of are we 55 and over, because a lot of parks are 55 and over. We house all ages. There's just been a lot of negative activity in the neighborhood, so it's my mission to just clean it up. And I didn't even realize that there were programs like this to ask for funds or to, I'm just chipping away with my shovel. So I think I covered most of those things on there. My husband's a contractor. We bring in manufactured homes and build them. This is not our first rodeo for bringing in new homes or putting them up. So budget-wise and all of that, it's something that we've done before. We just generally do it on owned land. Questions?
Right. Any of the board questions? And thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, Kristen.
You're welcome.
The launch pad.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having us, and thanks for serving on the CDBG committee. It's important work that you all do, and we've benefited greatly from it over the years. So in summary, in case you're not familiar with the Launchpad Teen Center, we are a nonprofit, youth-driven teen center just maybe a block and a half away from right here. You can see it from the city building. And we serve on-site daily. We've grown a ton since we last built since we did our capital campaign, which you all supported. We currently serve around 60 to 80 teenagers a day in our building after school. We serve 1,200 kids annually every year through all of our programming, our after-school programming, our programs that we do at schools on mentorship and academic mentorship, tutoring, all that sort of stuff. And then recently, in the last 3 years, we've been doing a lot of intergenerational work. So we've hosted 3 large intergenerational dinners with about 150 people apiece. Our last one had 190, and where we're bringing together teens and their grandparents and folks in the community who want to have conversations about what makes Prescott unique and special and how we can work together to keep doing that. So the Launchpad has expanded exponentially, and we have lots of people who are coming into our building all of the time, and we have submitted a request to repair some of the asphalt that leads up to our space. So if you've ever been there, we have a great basketball court that does have asphalt on it, and then we have a dirt driveway that leads up to it. And in the last 3 years, that driveway has just gotten bigger and bigger potholes. We have a lot. We have about 37 folks every day who are elderly who come to volunteer at the Launchpad, and the potholes are a problem. We have 7 kids who have mobility restrictions, whether they're wheelchair bound or utilize braces or a cane. And so the potholes, when it's nice outside, are not a big deal, but when it's rainy or it's icy, the potholes are definitely a big deal, and they just keep getting bigger. So we submitted a quote to basically pave from our basketball court out to the edge of the building that we own. And so we share a wall with Captain CrossFit, and they're part of the property. They do have asphalt that's in much better condition than ours that leads up to our property. And then from our property to our basketball court is this gap of potholes, essentially. So that's what we're looking for support with, is to increase the safety for our kids who have mobilization restrictions, and also to increase the safety for our amazing volunteers who are a little or much older than our teenagers, actually. But yeah, are there any questions?
Judge, you're good.
Thank you. Question. So of the kids that attend, are they low to moderate income?
Yes. So about 83% of the kids that attend, not all of them, but about 83% of the kids that attend are low to moderate income. And we serve, I do want to say, I know that CDBG funds are restricted to people, residents of Prescott. So the Launchpad does serve teens from the entire Prescott area. So we have teens who do come in from Prescott Valley and from Chino Valley. but the majority of our kids are right here from Prescott, and we are able to track that with our registration process. So we are able to show how many kids are from Prescott directly.
One more question. So the bid was 30,605?
Yes.
And then nothing matching. So if this doesn't happen, it doesn't happen?
So currently, that's correct. Our demand for our space has increased exponentially this year at a much higher rate than we anticipated. So if this doesn't happen, we did receive a quote for a smaller portion of the repair that for $6,000. The problem with that quote is it doesn't actually replace any asphalt. It only fixes the current potholes that are in a dirt lot. So it's like a Band-Aid. It'll solve a problem for a little bit of time.
You said that, so the cost of the building has gone up, or the demand of the people?
The demand for our services has gone up. So we built our budget thinking that we were currently serving 40 kids a day last year, and we also serve about 200 free lunches a week to kids who are experiencing food insecurity. So that demand increased substantially this last year, and we went from serving 40 kids to serving, like right now we've got 80 kids over at the teen center, and many of them are food insecure. So just expenses have gone up with the rising cost of everything this last year, and our families are experiencing it. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the questions.
Courtney, neighbor is CrossFit.
Yes.
And CrossFit has driveway coming up off of 6th Street.
Correct.
So that driveway then continues back to your property.
Yes.
Your parking is very limited anyway.
Yeah.
So I've been there and tried to find a place to park.
Yeah.
So you're working or looking for this basketball part, but you're very, very limited in your parking. So you're parking along the drive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with the number of volunteers, number of kids that drive, you're tight in that area.
We are very tight in that area. And Captain CrossFit does let us utilize their parking spaces as well. So we have a shared parking agreement with that. But from our property, from our property line to the basketball court is very limited.
All right.
One more. Do you own the property or do you rent?
We own it. So we were very fortunate and strategic in our fundraising efforts. So we own from our shared wall with Captain CrossFit to the fence that's by Sprouts. And we own our entire building. We don't owe anything on it. We were able to fundraise extensively so that we don't owe anything on the property or the building. Yeah.
You can't go to your landlord, can you?
No.
You're the landlord.
In this situation, I kind of wish I could.
Courtney, thank you very much. Appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, thank
and
you so
presenting.
much.
Thank you.
Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, Courtney. I think NASCAR is here. All right.
Hello, my name is Cassandra, and I'm with NASCAR. I am here today to tell you a little bit about us. So we are diverse in the community. We serve individuals dealing with mental health and that are substance use recovery. We also offer housing for these people as well. So currently we own a building, an older building in Prescott off of the White Spars. It is, I would consider it a historic building. It's been there longer than any buildings around them. We're here today requesting funds for the old roof that is on this building is old tile. It is not modernized. It is not up to date. It is inefficient. It's causing problems with heat escaping and drainage issues and leakage issues. So we're here requesting funds to put on a new metal roof to help with the cost of heating and expenses on that way. Also, it will help the longevity of the building. It'll keep our program and center running for a lot longer. Also for this project, we're not just replacing the roof. The roof is a issue also, but the drainage on this property is a huge issue. It is below, I'm not sure if anybody's really familiar with the White Spar Road, but it's very much below and under the main road. And when the city went in and redid grading, the water runoff from the White Spars Road comes directly into the property. So we are having issues with drainage. We are having issues with water puddling, safety hazards, pools of water slipping, tripping, the bottom of the building erosion. We are requesting also funds in addition to the new roof to put in extensive drainage, help clean out drainage, fix gutters and that kind of area that's been eroding, kind of say, like has had basic patches done through over the last few years. We have got a couple quotes from some contractors to fix those issues that have been patched and patched and patched. And last but not least, we are looking for funding for a room that was damaged from water damage. The basement, the way this 3-story building is, we have damage from the water coming in and seeping. It has made this room unusable. There's mold starting to grow. There is issues with the paint peeling. We are looking for funds to make this room kind of waterproof in the sense, and also with the new plan of diverting the water, we should not have as much water coming that direction, so it should help this building. Is there any questions?
Ginger?
Thank you. So metal roof, curious on that because metal roof is very expensive. It's the highest quality. And why was shingle not a consideration? Shingle should be more affordable?
Shingles are more affordable, but the way they last is the issue. We're looking for more of not having to replace it every 10 to 15 years. A metal roof, we're looking 30, 40 years and doing it once instead of having to tear off, dispose, permits, just the longevity of the cost more than anything. Shingles are a great product. Unfortunately, Arizona Sun does not do the greatest with them. They get replaced, we get windstorms, they rip off. Then you're having that cost, the unknown cost when a metal roof is just one solid piece. The maintenance on it is a lot easier.
Did you get any bids for asphalt shingle?
I do have one bid. It was about half of the current cost of the $55,000 for it. But it didn't, the warranty was not as well as a metal roof. The contractor's warranty was not as well either. Yeah, no problem.
Okay, thank you.
Yes,
Appreciate
thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Cass. Do we have the Prescott Cupboard Food Bank here? Okay. Awesome. Come up to the mic and please introduce yourself to the committee.
Hi, I'm Bud. I'm Bud Hyman. I'm the board chair of the Prescott Community Cupboard Food Bank, and with me is.
I'm Joe Jenkins. I'm the treasurer of Prescott Community Cupboard Food Bank. Thank you for having us today. The food bank was started in 1973 in someone's garage, and in the past 3 years, it has grown dramatically. Used to be a mom and pop operation, where back until like 1921, it was sort of mom and pop, and now we have obtained professional people on our board of directors, and we're operating like a real business now. So we want to remodel our shop. It was bought 6 years ago with no expectation as to what would happen. So just let me give you a couple figures as to what's happened over the last couple years. In 2021, we served 17,000 people, and we gave out 105,000 pounds of food. 2022, it went from 17,000 to 29,000, and we gave out 288,000 pounds of food. In 2023, it went from 29,000 to 36,000 people, and we gave out 415,000 pounds of food. And last year, it just started really moving up even more dramatically. It went up to 550,000 pounds of food and 43,000 people. It's just absolutely amazing, and it's not just the homeless and the poor. We're seeing more middle-income people coming in because they can't make ends meet. But we are still serving, at least 80% of our people, or 80, 90% are below poverty level. And we're even in the process of starting up a kids cafe in Dewey Humboldt, because 7 out of the 8 schools out there have more than 50% of the children are under the poverty level. So that's going to happen. We've met with Christine, and we're going to be moving forward on that in the near future. This building was never designed for the amount of people we are doing. We've got walls set up, and they're just, we can't operate the way we need to operate, and we do need to remodel. There's wasted space everywhere. We want to be able to reduce the pinch points. We've got places where people, they're coming in and they're walking through and they can't even get through because we try to get as many through as fast as we can. We also want to increase the flow efficiency to help more people get through faster. What we have to do is we basically have to move a lot of walls and move electricity. And that's what we're looking to do with any funds that, if you were to grant us those, that's exactly what we would be using those for. We need more room for coolers out front. We need more room for the people to be able to flow. And the one thing that we don't have, we visited St. Mary's Food Bank in Phoenix last fall, and what they have done, they have a model now where they let the people shop themselves and give them some dignity. They can come in, check in, someone takes them around, they can pick their canned goods, they can pick their produce, they can pick the meats, the poultry, the fruits and vegetables. And we want to be able to do the same thing. We're trying it on a trial basis, but we need to make some changes. We also need an area for clients in bad weather. They have to stand outside. We have put up awnings. We got a grant for that. We have just put up heaters for the people during the cold weather. But we want to be able to have an area where they can come in and sit rather than standing out in the cold weather, because all they do is line up outside. So basically, we've gotten some estimates, and we feel that our architect will cost us about $5,000. Our renovation costs, we figure, will be $30,000 to $35,000. And then we'll have to repair the floor. We have one of those floors that have the sprinkles in, and they did that 6 years ago. So we're going to have to repair where we rip up the walls. And then painting, about $5,000. So we're estimating the total cost to be about $50,000. We have funds, as you saw from our financials, and we are trying to grow those funds. So that's where we are. So we're asking for $25,000, and we certainly have the funds to match that. So any questions?
Debbie?
I do have a question.
Sure.
And it's on your timeline. You think you can accomplish that in 2 months?
I think so. 2 to 3. I would say 2 to 3 months. Because it's not going to. I mean, we don't want to shut the food bank down. So we'll do one area at a time. Okay, but I think we can do it in 3 months.
Yeah, let me just piggyback
Okay, yeah,
on that. None of our walls are supporting walls.
Right.
They're all partial walls, so the demolition will be very quick. And then it's just a matter of moving a couple other walls and electricity. So we really feel that we could do that in that amount of time.
Okay. No, in fact, I was going to ask the same question.
Okay.
How long are you going to be down during this
We're
construction?
not going to close.
Okay.
We can't close. We cannot
So-
let these people without food.
So again, back to CDBG funding, it doesn't always fill the request. But if it's partially funded, will you be able to do some of this work?
Absolutely.
As piecework, as another funding, because it needs to be done.
Yes.
How do you want to try to get that done?
We have funds now that we can utilize for that.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate
Thank you
it.
so
Thank you
very
all.
much.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right. Meals on Wheels. I'm going to, Madam Chair, I'm going to step out and call our last applicant, see if I can get him on the line. Did you have a PowerPoint? One slide. Right. Okay. Let me bring that
I
up.
saw it go through the rotation, but.
There it is.
Thanks,
Okay,
Michael. Good afternoon. My name's Neil Sniller. I'm the Executive Director with Prescott Meals on Wheels, and thank you to this volunteer committee for taking your time to invest in our community and help oversee this process. And thank you to the other projects. I know there's just so much need in our community, and we're all facing record demand as social services here in our community. If you don't know, we're located off of Rosser Street, and we've enjoyed a great partnership with the City of Prescott, owning the building and maintaining it. And so we have grown over the years to 14 paid staff, including myself, and we serve in Prescott 63,500 meals. We also do service Dewey and Prescott Valley, but for today's discussion, the numbers will just be Prescott-based. We have 175 daily neighbors that are homebound here in Prescott, and they receive a hot, fresh meal. In our program, the lifeblood is our volunteers. We have 248 volunteers and people that work in our cafe, in our kitchen, and then, of course, the drivers that really deliver that moment of companionship, check in on people. I think the part that we often forget in food, it's about that connection, and they're talking about that dignity and changing the model, and there's just a high dignity when you greet someone and you give them a meal, ask them if they need any pet food, can I get the mail, and move on to the next route. So every day, Monday through Friday, that happens. We have our cafe. You all are invited to come and enjoy lunch. So you may have heard, of course, funding sources are changing. So the Older Americans Act has historically funded Meals on Wheels programs. We've been the beneficiary this fiscal year of $300,000 in federal funding. That is at risk of being frozen, and this next funding cycle is unknown. Typically, a dollar amount is allocated for our fiscal year in July, but that we've not yet been notified, and our funding agency is uncertain because they don't have that. So this funding means more now than ever because we are definitely strategically realigning our expenditures, knowing that we may have to hunker down and run in a deficit in order to not cut services or staff members. So this 40-gallon steam kettle is an addition to our kitchen. We are going to remove, if you look at the picture on the bottom left, you can see Asher, one of our kitchen helpers, removing something on the oven. But on the right side behind that racking, there's a table that we can remove there, and we'd place the steam kettle. And it will help our chef, who's classically trained, produce more soups and more broths. And those are highly nutritious. They're very inexpensive to make. But right now we have a 6-burner stove where we have a couple big pots, but then you have to transfer the pots, and the amount of meals that we produce, over 100,000 each year, we really need this next step up for a commercial kitchen. Okay, yeah, I think that's plenty of info. Yeah. Any questions?
So this is a pretty big project. It states you've got electrical, you've got all kinds of stuff going into this construction.
So we have talked, and we're continuing to talk with the county health inspector, but we've talked to the vendor that oversees our hood inspection. And because this new piece of equipment is not an oil-emitting vapor, it does not require the same sprinkling and venting. And even our existing oven, even though it's shown underneath the hood there, can be slid in a different position. And so we do have some existing infrastructure already built in. And any of those miscellaneous costs that would be less than a couple $1,000s. And of course, we would just absorb that. And we do have an established electrician and or who we can call.
Next. Well, Neil, thank you. We appreciate you coming here.
All right, thank you all. Thanks, Michael.
All right, thanks, Neil. Okay, and I believe we have our last presenter here with Pronghorn Services. All right, thanks for getting here earlier.
Absolutely. Glad I started when I did.
Yeah.
Good afternoon. My name is Gerald Stasko. I'm with Pronghorn Services,
and we're a general contractor that is based in Prescott Valley, Arizona. Our project and our application is based on us acquiring and developing a parcel of land in the city of Prescott in order to create a workforce housing project. What you see on the screen is our tangible commitment to providing workforce housing for essential workers, the folks who treat us at the hospitals, who educate our children, who respond in the worst of times. This is part of a 140-unit complex. This is phase one, and we call it Baja Bungalows at Prescott Valley. We opened this month, and we are renting at 15 to 20% below market value based on the third-party market study that we had when we presented our findings to the bank. I will say that this took 6 months to build. Once we started, the first row took 6 months to build, and everything else took 6 months. So ultimately, these, some people drive by, and I guess at first they kind of looked a little bit, maybe you wouldn't want it in your backyard, but we do need housing for the folks who help us out. Inside, if you take a look at the next slide, this is what it looks like on the inside. Our designer builds $600,000 homes, $700,000, $800 million homes. Pronghorn Services played a very big hand in developing Pronghorn Ranch, which is obviously a very well-respected community in Prescott Valley. I'll tell you the things that would make me want to move into it when I was starting out. Number one, it's quiet. We use spray foam insulation and upgraded windows, so you really can't hear anything. But the most important thing to me would be the in-unit washer dryer. So I don't know if any of you remember spending time in a laundromat. Now, this would be phase two of the project, but this is what we would ultimately do with them. First we would acquire the land and develop it, and then we would put in phase two, basically roll it into a project for workforce housing. If you look in the next slide, I'm trying to get a lot of information into just a few minutes. Their next slide, this is what we built for Chino Valley School District in 2023. They could not get teachers, and we worked with their school district to build, basically, if you look at the right side, that dirt, that's what we started with. We used our underground and horizontal crew to build out install all the utilities and build out the parking lot, and then we use the rest of our expertise from Pronghorn Ranch to build 10 really cute little units. And really the win here is not only are they nice units, the school is able to rent them to their teachers for $550 a month. Now, we don't have to go back to this slide, but Baja Bungalows, we realize, the very first slide, we realized that we need help from everyone. Our goal is to cut the cost of housing in half, which is crazy. We realize in order to do that, we have to reduce the cost of building a house, figure out a way to work with municipalities and get, other people's money, I guess, to make that happen so people can rent, so people can live in our communities and do the things we need to do. I don't like driving down to the valley. You guys probably don't either. Maybe you do. So I said we're renting these for below market rent. We're actually working with other foundations across Arizona to try to get programs for essential workers, if they work for a hospital, if they work for a fire department, a school district, to provide those tenants a rebate to drive the costs below $1,000. Still a work in process, but every bit helps. And so I would say that's what we would use the money for, and that's our plan. And I would say if I were the committee and I was choosing, I would say that Pronghorn Services, there's a couple of reasons I would choose us. Number one, the speed in which we can get this to impact the community. We can find the land, develop it by fall of this year.
possibly have units done first quarter of 2026 for people to move into, become part of the community, set roots here so they can save up for whatever they want to do and stay in the community. So speed is one reason. The second reason is leveraging. We can roll this money into a bigger project where we have access to private equity, private funds, institutional lending, which will make this, depending on the size of land that we finally settle on in Prescott, we could have, between 15 and 20 units for people to move into. We put 25 people, if we got 15 units and it was 1.5 persons, that's, getting to be helping a lot of people and helping them quickly. So again, thank you for your time. I'm certainly happy to field any questions you have.
Ginger.
Thank you. So this location that you have currently in Prescott Valley, it's behind Viewpoint, is to the west of Viewpoint, correct?
Correct. It's behind the old Roberts Market.
Yes. And what are the sizes of those units?
So most of them are 350 square feet. There are 2 that are 400 square feet.
And what do you rent those for currently?
So they're listed on our website for $1,250 a month. If you went on rent.com and looked for anything new, you're looking at over $1,450 in the 15 to 1600s for studios.
Yeah. So I'm a real estate professional here in the area. That's outrageous on pricing, I think.
The 1250.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's outrageous.
Well, I will tell you that we think so too. And we would we're doing everything we can to reduce it.
My next question is, if the city of Prescott, which I'd love to see the city do this, I'd love to see the city donate land. And if that were a possibility, then would you all come in and do something like that and build if we granted these funds?
Absolutely. That's why we're here.
The last question is, what kind of location have you looked at this point in the city of Prescott?
They're actually close to where Miller Creek turns into Willow. They're by the hospital.
Okay, my question is, I think you're a little early asking for the funding without having the property to start.
That's true. We're in the middle of negotiations for the property. We just don't want to, so therefore we are asking for some help.
And I can understand that, but any CDBG money has a short window, and it's normally a project that has been started, shovel ready. You have a building, you're replacing a roof. You still are looking at a few lots. So I'm wondering if
Well, again, our owner is Ben Snyder, who created Pronghorn Development. Him finding land and negotiating the price, getting it shovel. I mean, this is, to me, practically shovel ready.
Mm-hmm. Madam Chair. So, as the committee know or might not know, that new members, is we cannot use CDBG for new construction at this time. That could change. We don't know, but that's where it's at right now. We can use CDBG money for acquisition costs and to clear out a lot, as well as infrastructure to, plumb and get utilities in as well. So acquisition cost is okay with this type of funding.
Thank you. Can I just ask another question? So I also am looking at the estimated cost for this, and a lot of it is salaries to cover the cost. Is that correct?
It costs a fair amount of labor to develop the land. Putting in installing utilities, excavating. That's fairly labor intensive.
And then, so if the city of Prescott were to donate land, And then CBDG money could be provided for the clearing and the initial infrastructure of that land.
That's correct. It could be used for that. Not building.
The current buzz is workhouse housing, workhouse development, low income.
We do need it.
Trying to get that market, and as you presented, teachers and police and fire still looking for a place. They're trying to get a committee going with this workforce housing.
That's correct, Madam Chair. There's the city does have a workforce housing committee. They are familiar with the Baja project that Pronghorn Services has completed. The committee actually went out there to tour the site when I think it was only like a single unit at that point. It looks like it's complete. So yes, that it's a constant focus of the city. Workforce housing and a focus of the Workforce Housing Committee.
Again, trying to get the city to donate land is an issue because City of Prescott's a business and tax.
Sure. Yeah, we're not looking for donation of land. We would use the CDBG funds to acquire the land and develop it. But if you find a way to donate it, that'd be great.
You wouldn't say no.
No.
Okay.
And then what is the occupancy rate over at the Baja project right now?
Well, we just opened it, so we have 3 units rented. And we have not marketed it at all because we're really trying to finalize our foundation rebates for the essential workforce housing before we really market it, because we'd like to market it with the rate that's more friendly to our essential workers. Thank you for the question.
I appreciate the demonstration. I mean, everybody is looking for that piece of the puzzle. Where can we put this? And there's just not enough land for the number of people coming.
Well, yeah, they keep on coming. There's no one going to stop them.
Go up instead of out. Appreciate that.
Well, thank you very much. And if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me through the portal.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Michael.
All right. Thank you, Joe.
Thanks.
Madam Chair, that was our last presentation. Record time. It's not even 4 yet, so I don't know how that happened.
I have a question. We need a date and a time and a where for the subcommittee to go over the application. But I'm wondering, could we have a discussion on this board of anything on the applications that we have?
Yeah, yes, this would be a great time to discuss very generally. You know, I understand. Ask me any questions about any of these applications for clarity of how this works with CDBG. If it didn't seem clear, I think I can do some explaining. And then in staff updates, Madam Chair, I'll talk about kind of the next steps in this process.
Okay.
Any questions for me? I'm ready.
Don't do that. A pretty quiet conversation, application. It's quiet as I've seen for a long time. Mm-hmm. There's usually tons and tons of questions, so we're very prepared. The information is there, so now it's just up to us to get these applications in. When is the latest they can be turned in to you?
Okay. Well, I'll go. I'm going to be out of town tomorrow and Friday. So next Friday, you're retiring. You'll be young. By next Friday, anytime next week, you can drop off your scoring sheets, and that'll give me enough time before the subcommittee meeting the first week of March. What I can do is I'll look at the calendar. I will be in contact with the subcommittee regarding a good time and place of meeting. But the expectation is I get the ranking sheets by next Friday. I get a few days to kind of bring everything together. And then that first week of March, meet with the subcommittee.
So next Friday is February 28th.
Okay.
So we're to bring these ranking sheets in to the same place we put up our books.
That's correct. Old City Hall, we haven't moved out yet. So Old City Hall, where you picked up your binder, you can just drop off your ranking sheets there at the community development desk, or I'm in the back. You can call me up if you have any questions. So I would like to say this was a very diverse group of applicants, probably the most diverse that I've seen. We had non-for-profit, we had government, and we had for-profit. Okay. Again, with CDBG, it doesn't have to be non-for-profit. It can absolutely be a for-profit organization as long as what they're doing is to benefit low and moderate income.
So I would say if there's any questions on the applications, John, go ahead.
Yeah, John Paris. I'm the rating sheet. Yeah, we can go through that all they want, but on my rating sheet, you're going to find all kinds of comments, all kinds of comments. So my concern, I don't know if it's a concern. Yeah, it's a concern with the subcommittee and you, Michael, putting this in order. Mm-hmm. It's going to be in order by numerical number. But what if my vote? What if it says 100% because they answered everything, but I say, no, this is maybe 13th on my list out of 90. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Is that going to mean anything, or is the numbers going to mean it?
Well, maybe one thing, let me talk about the comments. Comments are great. Comments are going to be included in what I bring together and the subcommittee is going to go through. So all your comments, I'll try to condense it as much as I can, but they are going to be available for the subcommittee to look at and read. And maybe some of the other committee members can explain kind of how it works out and
how he fills a spreadsheet. There are no names. We then take each one of these organizations, and 3 of you, 4 of you would vote to number. Some could vote 0, and that goes through. So the most popular takes that line. So now comes the next one. Now comes the next one. Everyone is addressed, and there are numbers that are associated to it.
And I think one thing, Member Paris, is if you don't agree with the project or you don't see it as a good fit, there's nothing wrong with you ranking it accordingly. And we've seen that. We've seen ranking where they ranked it on how they subjectively and objectively felt of the project as it related to CDBG funds.
Okay, so you're saying the ranking according to our score sheet. Mm-hmm. Okay, then. I agree with you. I do have a problem there.
Okay.
Because somebody can meet this 100%, and still, in my mind, it is not good use of the funding. Okay. But yet they're rated at 100 points when somebody, maybe for the first or second year that they're applying, didn't get all the points that somebody else did. Does that make sense?
No, it does. It does. committee members that have gone through this experience?
So what I feel, this is Debbie, I don't know if we're recording, Savoini.
We are still recording.
Okay, so the committee will come to us with recommendations. If you will remember last year, the committee, the whole committee disagreed. And what the committee recommended what did not happen. Because when we came to the actual this group, there was big discussion. And there was negotiations within some people were dropped from their.
Have a lot of opportunity. We can't sit here and try to take each and every one of those here and here and here and here. Do you have any idea how long that would be and what it would be? So what the subcommittee was set up for, to take your information, everybody's information, it is presented to us. We take the biggest numbers, look at those, and then come down accordingly.
In order to modify this in the future, I'd recommend that we have a ranking at the top that's an overall ranking, and that if we took the construction side and then we took the other side and we said out of, the 15 applicants for construction, regardless of how they fell within their information they provided, where did you feel that this particular organization rank? Okay, I felt like they didn't provide financials because they just started or whatever, but I felt like they're the most in need and they can serve the biggest people, so they're number one. Do you see what I'm saying?
I absolutely, and what I'd say to that is, I think that's great. We go through the process as it is this year, and especially with all the new committee members, like those ideas that we're going to do this same thing where I go over the ranking sheets and whatnot with you next year, and we can adjust. The other thing I would say is, and I think the Madam Chair and Member Savoini mentioned this, is the ranking by itself isn't it. The ranking by itself isn't it. Yes, a project could get 100% per the criteria, but what really makes the difference is, one, the subcommittee who will be looking at the comments, but it is that middle of March committee where everybody has, the opportunity to say what they really, really think. And that is encouraged. That is this process, if that makes sense. Madam Chair.
We've got 4 new members. They are just starting with trying to understand how to do this. I realize you want your voice heard. You have a different set of eyes on it. But if you'll let this process go, please attend a subcommittee meeting. That doesn't mean you cannot come and voice your opinion. What we're trying to do is condense it to a point, and I think if you come to one, you'll understand it a little bit better. You're always going to have your voice heard. You're here for a reason. So let's see how this works, and if you guys choose to do something else, then it can be done. So they've all agreed. They're going to see how this works. Want to make sure they're heard. I would love to have them come and sit when we get this going.
Absolutely.
And see what the process is. I think you'll understand it better.
The subcommittee meeting is open to the public. It's not an executive session or anything like that.
It always has been.
Yep.
And you have experience with this because how long have we been doing this subcommittee? About 4
years.
4 years. Because before that, it was
chaos,
miserable.
Free for all.
Yeah.
Sitting out there saying, well, what about us?
Yeah.
How come you feel that way? You like those guys better than us? What about us? So what we're trying to do is just get it as tight, but it's still, what can I tell you till you see it?
And have we decided when the subcommittee's meeting yet?
Not yet. Again, Friday, it was February 28th, was that correct? Have the ranking score sheets to me, and then it'll be the following week. And I'll reach out to everybody probably early next week, actually.
Let's try to do it on a Wednesday.
Okay.
Like a regular meeting. They've come.
Absolutely.
Find out where we can be. We always had it at that basement over at the old city hall.
We might do it, Madam Chair, in the conference room. That
Okay.
might work.
And keep your binders. Keep a copy of what you've done so you'll see how this works, and then we'll go from there. All right. You'll email everybody.
I will. Last thing, this is our planning manager, George Worley's last CDBG meeting.
Oh.
I've been trying to get him to talk and
Goodbye,
wisdom.
sweetie.
So anyway, this is he has been a huge help to me. He hired me 2 years ago. He's been my mentor, especially with this program. As y'all know, this is a lot more complicated than it initially seems. So again, really appreciate George and his mentorship with you guys and CDBG. So
Can't we give him something?
I don't know if we're gonna give him something. No, there's going to be plenty here. His last week is next week.
Okay. So, besides George being king of the hill, did you have any other updates?
Well, John's got something for
You want to
Mr.
share?
George. He gets a York. He gets a York candy. So.
All right.
No staff updates. It was just really the subcommittee and the getting the rosters into me, or the ranking sheets into me. Oh, right. Betsy Howe is our new member again. If you would like to, just a little bit about yourself. We do have a little bit of time, so. If you could press on the speaker, Money. Miss Betsy Howe.
Not high technology, but I worked for health nonprofits like the Arthritis Foundation, Diabetes Association, and did grant writing for them. And I am just thrilled to see what community organizations are coming up with, what they do in the community. I've only been here for about 3.5 years. But love Prescott. Went through the Citizens Academy, which really made me love Prescott. Loved the way they use volunteer support. So very excited.
Nice to have you.
Thank you.
Where did you come from?
Seattle. Oh, me too. It rains there. All the time.
So
That is it for me.
New member, thank you. Appreciated your input. I thought you did extremely well. This was a test by fire. And we're still learning. So with that, we're going to adjourn, and I've got 4:15.
4:15 it is.
Do I need a motion? Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, everyone.
George.